Hey teams, congratulations for making it into Phase 2, Level 2 of NASA's Break the Ice Lunar Challenge. We hope you're excited to start building and testing your icy regolith excavation and transportation solutions, because we at NASA Centennial Challenges program are super excited to see your designs come to life and successfully excavate and transport tons and tons of simulated icy regolith. During Level 2, you can all help start a buzz on the internet about this challenge. It's not a requirement and it won't be part of the judging process, but we do want to strongly encourage all teams to post the progress of their design, the progress of their build, and the progress of their testing on all of their favorite social media platforms. Obviously, you'll want to keep your sensitive and proprietary stuff to yourself though. Remember, NASA is funded by taxpayer dollars, and so your help in promoting this challenge and getting the general public excited about what you all are doing along the way can really make a difference in public awareness and public perception. Now that you're all officially competing in Phase 2, Level 2 of our challenge, we want to solicit some information from all of you that has the potential to really help us prepare for our future Level 3 event. You might recall that Level 3 is going to bring teams together at a NASA-provided facility, and it's planned to include gravity offloading of the excavation process along with transportation on a rugged course. So here's how you can help us prepare for that event. We'll be contacting each of your team leads very soon and asking them to fill out a Level 3 event on-site needs survey. This survey will ask you a handful of questions related to your anticipated on-site needs. It'll cover needs like parking, work areas or pit areas, facility power, hazards, materials disposal, and more. Please take the time to fill out this survey and help us prepare for an in-person Level 3 event that accommodates all teams to the best of our abilities and to the best of our resources. Now let's get back to Phase 2, Level 2, and more specifically, your upcoming durability demonstration tests, which hopefully you are all busy preparing to perform at your own chosen location or facility. We hope the rules were quite clear, but let's quickly review them. Your durability demonstration test must demonstrate both excavation and transportation operations over a continuous 15 Earth Day period, using an icy regolith simulant that meets the compressive strength requirements listed in the rules. Once the clock starts on your 15-day durability demonstration test, it cannot pause. It cannot stop until the 15 days are over. Repairs, maintenance, etc. will have to be performed while the 15-day clock continues to run. Your durability demonstration test is meant to be performed under ambient environmental conditions, which means there's no need to run your demonstration test under lunar temperatures or under lunar lighting conditions or under lunar radiation conditions or under lunar vacuum conditions or to simulate lunar gravity. Your excavation solution should target excavating 12,000 kilograms of simulated regolith over that 15-day window. And likewise, your transportation solution should target delivering that same 12,000 kilograms of material within that same 15-day window. So if you do the math, that's a target of 800 kilograms per each 24-hour period if you spread that out over 15 days. The daily 800 kilogram excavation and delivery rate is every team's target. Note that the 800 kilograms per day rate is consistent with the rate at which a postulated NASA water extraction plant will process delivered material. We're giving teams a plus or minus 10% window around that 800 kilogram daily target though. So you can excavate and deliver between 720 kilograms and 880 kilograms per day without incurring any rate penalties. But if you excavate and deliver less than 720 kilograms or more than 880 kilograms in a 24-hour period, you will receive a penalty for each 24-hour instance. So plan carefully and design carefully. Your transportation solution needs to rack up at least 500 meters worth of travel before offloading, and then it needs to rack up another 500 meters of travel in the opposite direction before taking on more material. Teams need to weigh and log each load of delivered material. Your excavation solutions and your transportation solutions can be remotely controlled by human operators, or they can be fully autonomous, or you can choose something in between those two extremes. Autonomy is not actually part of our scoring criteria for this challenge, but teams are more than welcome to use any level of autonomy that they wish in order to meet their own internal needs. Dry runs are allowed. Actually, they're strongly encouraged, as long as they occur prior to the durability test start date, of which each team has notified the challenge administrator. Once your start date hits, you can't really dry run your test anymore because your 15-day test timer has officially started. All teams are required to notify the challenge administrator of their anticipated start date or changes to that anticipated start date at least 28 days before their test actually starts. So plan carefully and plan ahead, because once you're inside that 28-day window, you will not be allowed to modify your start date. And speaking of dry runs, make sure that you start your official 15-day durability test excavation on an undisturbed slab of simulated regolith. Now that may mean creating more than one slab if you plan to dry run on a slab prior to your actual test. And also, make sure that you plan for your solutions to only transport simulated icy regolith material that was previously excavated. We want the transportation portion of your demonstration test to be serial or downstream of the excavation portion of your demonstration test. Teams are allowed to maintain and repair their excavation solution and their transportation solution during their 15-day demonstration test. And teams are allowed to perform those repair and maintenance activities on their excavation solution and on their transportation solution using human workers and using handheld tools. But there are some very important caveats here. The 15-day clock does not stop, as I mentioned earlier. It just keeps on ticking down. There is no allowance and no exception in the rules to allow you to pause the 15-day clock once your durability demonstration test has started. Also, you must have planned ahead of the start of your 15-day test, and you must already have all the tools and all the spare parts and all the necessary equipment set aside to use in those excavator and transporter repair activities. And all of this stuff must be weighed and measured as part of your total planned landed mass and landed volume, regardless of whether it actually gets used or not. You do not have to weigh and measure the human workers though. Also, you must save your worn or broken replaced parts for inspection and for inclusion in your final durability demonstration test report. If your excavation or transportation solution breaks down or wears down to a point where the durability demonstration test can no longer continue, and if your set aside tools and spare parts and equipment are not able to maintain or repair that solution back into working order, then your 15-day durability demonstration test must be terminated early. And if that happens, the amount of icy regolith simulant that was excavated and delivered up to that point is what you will need to report in your final durability demonstration test report. Teams are allowed to maintain and repair their transportation demonstration area, their track, their test track, during their 15-day demonstration test, but the 15-day clock does not stop for that activity either. And it's very, very important to note that only robotic maintenance and repair of your transportation area is allowed. You can operate that robotic repair and maintenance equipment remotely, or you can operate it fully autonomously. But you cannot use human-held tools, you cannot use human-held equipment to maintain or repair your transportation area once your 15-day durability demonstration test has started. And also, a human operator cannot ride on your robotic repair and maintenance equipment for the track. Hopefully that is clear. So in addition to that, just like the tools and equipment used to maintain and repair your excavation solution and your transportation solution, you must have also planned ahead of the start of your 15-day test for this robotic track repair and maintenance equipment. And you must have it also set aside to use in those transportation demonstration area repair and maintenance activities. and it all must be weighed and measured as part of your total planned landed mass and landed volume, regardless of whether that equipment it actually ends up getting used or not. And unlike the excavation and transportation robots, the energy that's used by your robotic track repair and maintenance equipment does not need to be collected nor reported as part of your total energy used by your solution. Hopefully that was all just review for everyone with no surprises there. So now let's talk about some topics that teams may want to focus on before their durability demonstration test starts. During this prototyping and building phase, it's natural and even expected that your designs will evolve and change. Honestly, I'd be worried if that wasn't the case, which means that some of your level 1 deliverables will go stale and will no longer properly document your design. That's okay. That's why we require your level 2 deliverables to document any changes to your level 1 deliverables. And because of that, I want to encourage you to track changes to your level 1 design and to your level 1 test plan throughout this current prototyping and building phase, because that'll make it easier for you to capture that information in your level 2 deliverables later. Another topic that teams need to be focusing on long before their durability demonstration test actually starts is their icy regolith simulant bed that teams will use for the excavation portion of their demonstration test. These concrete materials can take quite a while to set and to meet the compressive strength requirements that are listed in the rules. So teams need to make sure that they plan enough time into their schedules to design their test bed at their facility, to create the concrete mixture in-house or to contract and schedule a concrete supplier, to pour the concrete mixture, and to wait for it to cure properly. Also, teams have to prove that the compressive strength of their icy regolith simulant is between 1.5 and 2.0 megapascals before their 15-day durability demonstration test starts. A certified compressive strength test report that's dated on or before test start must be included in your level 2 deliverables. So it is very important that you plan ahead and don't forget to perform that testing and to collect the proper documentation. Earlier in this video, when I reviewed the rules, I reminded you that you had to already have all the tools and all the spare parts and all the necessary equipment set aside and weighed before your test starts. And I also reminded you that you had to already have the robotic track repair and maintenance equipment also set aside and weighed before your test starts. So this is your second reminder that all of this needs to be all set aside and weighed before your 15-day test starts. The challenge planning team is busily working on a pre-test survey for phase 2 level 2 teams to fill out and submit to the challenge administrator prior to officially starting their durability demonstration tests. This pre-test survey reminds teams of some very critical items that must be completed before they start their test. And it also collects some important information for our own internal challenge planning purposes. So team leads should look for that pre-test checklist in their inboxes very soon. Now let's talk about insurance for a quick minute. It's very important for all teams to have proper insurance during phase 2 level 2 of this challenge. We did ask all teams to submit proof of insurance in their earlier phase 2 level 1 deliverables, but some teams fell short of proving that they have the proper liability insurance, or they didn't demonstrate financial responsibility for that same amount. So the challenge administrator will be reaching out soon to those teams who still need to verify proper insurance coverage. Teams that fail to prove proper insurance coverage will be disqualified, so this is very, very important. That covers the topics that we think teams need to be focusing on before their durability demonstration test starts. So now let's look ahead and let's go over a few topics that will be important for teams during their actual durability demonstration tests. Throughout your long-term durability demonstration test, certain test data must be collected and then included in your level 2 deliverables. So it's very important that you plan ahead and don't forget to collect that data throughout your test. During your test, you need to provide at least one live 1080 line or better resolution video stream. That video stream must either be publicly accessible or privately accessible to the NASA judging panel. and multiple video feeds might be necessary in order to focus on each major piece of hardware and equipment that's being demonstrated. During your test, you also need to take detailed photos of each major piece of hardware and equipment performing normal operations. And don't forget to collect the energy used by your excavation and transportation solutions. However, the energy consumed by tools and equipment during repair and maintenance of your excavation and transportation solutions does not need to be collected nor reported. Also, the energy consumed by tools and equipment during transportation demonstration area or track repair and maintenance does not need to be collected nor reported. Don't forget to collect the runtime of your excavation and transportation solutions. You'll recall from the rules that runtime is defined as any motion of the equipment under test. For example, digging, driving, dumping, etc. Downtime, idle time, recharge time, these are not considered runtime. Teams also need to collect the total distance traversed by their transportation solutions during transportation of material from the excavation location to the delivery location. And teams also need to collect the number of round trips between their simulated excavation site and their simulated water extraction plant. During your test, you also need to keep a record of the mass of regolith delivered each day. And remember that any material that's processed by your excavation solution, which is not also transported and delivered by your transportation solution, cannot be scored and should not be reported in that day's delivered mass. Also, don't forget to keep a record of parts replaced, breakdowns, issues requiring human intervention, along with job hours spent on repairs and maintenance of your excavation and transportation solutions. And you also need to keep a record of any robotic maintenance or repair to your transportation demonstration area. Earlier in this video, when I reviewed the rules, I reminded you that you had to already have all the tools, all the spare parts, all the necessary equipment set aside to use in any possible excavator and transporter repair activities before your test even starts. And I also reminded you that you had to already have the robotic track repair and maintenance equipment set aside to use in any possible track repair and maintenance activities before your test even starts. So, to be perfectly clear, during your long-term durability demonstration test, if you realize that you need something, whether it's a tool, a spare part, a piece of equipment, some sort of material, etc., if you did not think about it beforehand, and if you did not set it aside for use during your test, and if you did not weigh it and measure it as part of your total planned landed mass and landed volume, then you cannot use it. Teams are not allowed to forget to take something to the moon and then just have it magically appear after their test has started. I cannot stress how important it is to think through your test and to plan ahead for any and all possible contingencies, just like NASA has to do for our actual lunar surface missions. This is yet another reason why dry runs are strongly encouraged before starting your actual official 15-day durability demonstration test. Now for the next important topic for teams during their durability demonstration tests. On-site observation visits from Break the Ice Lunar Challenge staff. According to the rules, challenge staff will visit all of the U.S. teams during the course of their long-term durability demonstration tests. We will notify the team lead of their upcoming on-site observation visit at least 24 hours prior to the arrival of the challenge staff. Each site visit is expected to be completed within the span of 2 calendar days, although the actual on-site hours during those 2 days is flexible. On-site challenge staff will determine in real time the number of hours per day they will remain on-site based on the team's testing plan and schedule. Challenge site visit staff will be instructed to only observe your durability demonstration testing. They will not be performing any actual judging while on site, and they will not be answering any judging questions nor technical questions while on site. Please continue to direct all questions to the Challenge Administrator email available on the Challenge website. Upon arrival of the Challenge staff, Teams must provide them with personal protective equipment that is appropriate for the facility and for the operations being observed. All except for rugged footwear, which the challenge staff will provide themselves. Teams are expected to give challenge staff a detailed tour of the testing site, including the excavation solution, the transportation solution, the IC regolith simulant, and the transportation demonstration area. The detailed tour should also include all the tools and all the spare parts and all the equipment that was set aside for use in potential excavator and transporter repair and maintenance activities, plus any robotic equipment that was set aside for use in potential track repair and maintenance activities. Teams are also expected to show the visiting challenge staff their certified compressive strength test report dated on or before the test start date. This test report should indicate that the IC regolith simulant tested between 1.5 and 2.0 megapascals before the 15-day durability demonstration test started. Challenge site visit staff are authorized to leave your site immediately if they feel unsafe anytime during their on-site observation visit. It is very important for all team members to remain vigilant about site safety and about operational safety and about personnel safety at all times. We're all professionals, so let's all continue to be professionals during these site visits. We want everyone to succeed and help us make long-term sustained human lunar exploration a reality. That covers the topics that we think teams need to be focusing on during their durability demonstration tests. So now, let's look way ahead and let's go over a few topics that will be important for teams after their durability demonstration tests are complete. There are a few Level 2 deliverable products that teams will need to complete and submit by October 27th. According to the rules, all 15-day durability demonstration tests must start on or before September 15th. So by the end of September, all teams are guaranteed to have completed their 15-day tests. And so that gives all teams at least a full month following testing in order to turn in their Level 2 deliverables. That's the worst case though. Teams are encouraged to start their testing before that September 15th final deadline. One of the Level 2 deliverables is your durability demonstration test report. This report needs to detail your long-term durability demonstration test. It needs to include the actual start date, the actual duration, and the as-run schedule of tests or operations that were performed. It needs to include the actual sequence for operating and exercising your excavation solution and your transportation solution. It needs to describe any changes to your previously submitted Level 1 demonstration test plan, and it needs to describe any changes to the design of your excavation and transportation solutions which were previously submitted as your Level 1 detailed design report and your Level 1 CAD models and/or drawings. Your Level 2 durability demonstration test report also needs to include photos of your excavation solution and your transportation solution performing normal operations. It also needs to include a log of parts replaced, breakdowns, issues requiring human intervention, along with job hours spent on repairs to your excavation solution and to your transportation solution, plus post-test inspection results for your excavation solution and your transportation solution, plus a log of any maintenance or repair to your transportation demonstration area or track. Your Level 2 durability demonstration test report also needs to include your final geometry sketch and your final mixture design for your IC regolith simulant bed that was used in your test, along with at least 2 separate certified compressive strength test reports, one for the beginning and one for the end of your 15-day test period. Your Level 2 durability demonstration test report also needs to include a table containing the mass of each piece of equipment, including spare parts, whether they were used or not, and including repair and maintenance tools, whether they were used or not. Plus, this table needs to include the energy used by and the runtime of your excavation solution and your transportation solution, plus the total distance traversed by your transportation solution and the total number of transportation solution round trips. And you also need to include the total mass of icy regolith simulant that was excavated and delivered. Your Level 2 Durability Demonstration Test report also needs to include a daily log of the mass of simulated icy regolith that was excavated and delivered. The second Level 2 deliverable is your durability demonstration time-lapse video, which needs to show a minimum of 3 full cycles of excavation, transportation, and delivery. This video needs to have been recorded during your long-term durability demonstration test, not during a dry run. If your equipment operates continuously without discrete cycles, a minimum of 2 hours of operation from that equipment is acceptable. The third and final Level 2 deliverable is your safety analysis. This document needs to identify any potentially hazardous materials or other safety concerns related to your excavation and transportation solutions. This safety analysis needs to specifically consider your solution's future possible transport to and operation in a NASA-provided test facility, along with potential interactions with the NASA judging staff working at that test facility. One thing that will help us in assessing the impact of this challenge is how much money each team spent in support of the entire effort. This includes equipment, facilities, labor, utilities, etc. If you do track such expenses and are willing to provide it, we would appreciate receiving this data. You can email this information to the challenge administrator after you submit your Phase 2 Level 2 deliverables. And so that covers the topics that we think teams will need to focus on after their durability demonstration tests. So congratulations again for making it into Phase 2 Level 2 of this NASA Centennial Challenge. We can hardly wait to see your designs come to life and successfully excavate and transport tons and tons of simulated icy regolith. Good luck to you all.